Hey guys, it's Classy Otaku here for another discussion, thoughts, reflection episode on probably the most controversial topic happening right now in the FE fandom, Fire Emblem Warriors, which has been the topic of much hate and anger and upsetness for the past 2 or 3 weeks maybe? I don't know, whenever that Famitsu article came out, which pissed everyone off. Not everyone, but a good amount of people. So I kind of wanted to make an video just talking about how I feel about it since it's the internet, anyone can give their opinions nowadays and have everyone argue with them. It's like my last video about my reflections on E3. Isn't scripted. I have a couple of notes on the side just to make sure I hit all of the topics that I want to talk about. And that's about it. I should be showing some of the gameplay or walkthrough or whatever they did at E3 in the background so you guys can see what we all saw, even though you're not really hearing what they were talking about, which is for the best since the main commentary for it was all about how this one girl was in love with Chrom and Xander and it was just really annoying. Oh my god, it was so bad. Anyway, I'm sure everyone's talked about that already. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is what is Fire Emblem Warriors? To put it simply, it's a Musou game, it's a Warriors game. You played Hyrule Warriors, you basically already know what this game's gonna be. It's a hack and slash beat 'em up game with Fire Emblem characters on top as skins, and it's not going to be quite that since they're going to be integrating the weapons triangle and they're going to be cavaliers and apparently flyers, which sounds amazing. And then you have Corrin who can like turn into a dragon. So it's more than just like a skin over, but it's basically a Warriors game. If you played one of those, you already know what you're getting into. And then there'll be some unique features to make it feel more like Fire Emblem. You're going to be taking over keeps, you're going to be fighting generals, you're going to be defending your own keeps, and rinse and repeat until you're done with the whole game or you just get sick of it and you never play it again. So, it's the second spin-off game, I believe, for the Fire Emblem franchise after TMS, but since I hate TMS, it's the only spin-off game as far as I'm concerned. I mean, TMS, I'm sure TMS is beloved by its fandom. I am not one of them. I can't stand that game, but whatever. And when Fire Emblem Warriors got announced, me and a lot of other people saw it as being kind of like a celebration of everything the Fire Emblem has been up until now, because no one would have thought that this little niche franchise would get one or two spin-off games, especially one that would take up a large slot of time at E3. I mean, they spent at least 30 minutes to an hour on this game at Treehouse, so that's a big deal, honestly. So that's just the basics of what this game is. It's a beat 'em up game, hack and slash beat 'em up game that could be or has the potential to be a celebration of the entire franchise. Will it be a celebration of the entire franchise? It's not really looking like it, but that's for later on the discussion. So I want to talk about two topics that aren't really as controversial first. You'll get the controversial stuff in the end because that's probably going to be what takes up a lot of time, at least a good 5 minutes in itself. So, first I want to talk about gameplay, which you'll be seeing a lot on screen. So, since it's a Warriors game, you already kind of know how it's going to play. I mean, if you want more hands-on experience, it's kind of hard to explain yourself, at least in words. You should try to get a copy of Hyrule Warriors Legends if you have a 3DS, or just Hyrule Warriors if you're one of the few people who actually have a Wii U. I'm surprised it's not getting ported over to Switch, actually, but I guess that's kind of redundant since it's on the 3DS now. So, as I said before, you're capturing keeps, you're keeping your keep safe, and you're defeating the commanders. And the gameplay looks really good and really smooth. I'm not really sure how they're gonna incorporate the weapons triangle into it, but I'm sure they'll show us in maybe a later direct or just random other Famitsu articles that'll come up every month. So far, the characters they've shown off all look basic or at least very fun to play. I think Corrin and Xander look amazing. Like, Corrin's on screen right now, and she looks hella fun to play. I mean, as a character in Fates, Corrin was definitely one of the better ones because she could debuff. They could debuff people and just tank a lot of hits, and it seems like they're going to be able to do that here as well. I'm also really happy that it's female Corrin because I really liked her design more than the default male one. So, whatever if you're anti-female fighters who aren't who aren't scantily clad, whatever. But I like her design better than the male Corrin design. So, Xander also looks cool because he's on a horse. I was so excited when I saw that he was keeping his horse. I mean, as soon as we knew he was going to be a playable character, we knew he had to have his horse. He doesn't fight off of his horse unless you're looking at the cipher cards. So, it's just, he looks cool. He's probably the most unique out of all the characters who have been announced so far. So, hopefully he's a good indicator of some nice variety in the play styles. Kind of like how every character in Hyrule Warriors felt different from each other. Even if it was just like Link versus Toon Link, they all felt different. They even kept Boneries as their health recovery items, so I'm sure eventually you'll be able to power that up to elixirs and other stuff. Just a lot of little touches that's making it feel unique. One thing that I wasn't concerned about, just like something that raised my eye, is it doesn't seem like there are going to be any promotions, or at least if they are, they're going to happen after level 20, which actually that makes more sense because level 20 isn't that high in Warriors games, because I think in Hyrule Warriors you can go up to level 200 or something. So it would make more sense if you didn't promote until like level 50 or level 100. If you can promote at all, who knows? So yeah, the gameplay looks good. It looks very crisp, very clear, very fluid, and it's going to be fun to kill a lot of people and get those huge combos. Probably rambling a little bit too much on this section, but whatever, it's my video. Now graphics. Now let's move on to graphics, which I don't really have a lot to say on graphics. It's gonna be on the Switch, so it's automatically gonna look at least a little better than Hyrule Warriors. I like that they to me it looks like they mixed Awakening's cel-shaded style with the Echoes as 3D CGI models. Maybe that's just me. I really like it. Yeah, I really like it for how it's all playing out. What I don't really like, or at least I'm gonna be a little nitpicky on, is the what are they called? The portraits. What shows up at the bottom of the screen when they're talking to each other or when they're leveling up. Something about them seems off. I don't know. There's something. Their faces maybe look too angular or too thin. Or maybe it's yeah, because Crumbs is up right now. Maybe it's the shading of their faces. I don't really know. But it's just a little off to me. It's not that big of a deal because they're barely on screen. What I do like is how when they're on the pause screen, you've got to see their little sprite figures, and I just think that's a wonderful touch. I love the sprites. And with the Fire Emblem Echoes special edition pack that had the little pins, I got the special edition because I was lucky. But it had the pins and it was so nice. I love them. Oh, I love the sprites are just beautiful. So graphics look good. The portraits are a little odd. I mean, It also looks a little bit weird when they do that cut-in animation, but I'm sure they'll have any little things that I'm noticing will be smoothed out by the time the game comes out in a couple months. Or maybe they won't, and I'm just being really weird. My eyes just probably need new glasses to make up for any deficiencies. Who knows? But I like the graphics, I like the gameplay. Now let's get on to what everyone is probably hoping I'm going to be talking about, which is the characters. And oh boy, before I get to that, I know we're already like 12 minutes in, or 10 minutes in probably. Let me take a drink, because I'm going to need a drink before talking about any of these guys. This isn't sponsored, but like a cold Pepsi is a very nice feeling when you're about to rage out about this. So, looking at my notes so I don't go too far off topic. So, before we get into the full rage, I want to say two things. 2 points before I get into the roster. I already mentioned this before, but I'm really happy about female Corrin. I guess this means she's either the canonical choice, and that might mean that Conquest is the canonical version of Fates, and she's the one on the box set of Fates, or maybe they'll also have a male Corrin to represent Birthright. Who knows? I don't really care. It just seems like she's the more popular version of the character, since her amiibo sold out so fast, incredibly fast. And she also has 2 different figures of her coming out this year, so who knows? I mean, she had the better design, male Robin had the better default design, so maybe it just works out that way. And then the other thing I want to talk about, and this is going straight towards negative factor, I absolutely hate the blonde twins. They look terrible, guys. Like, they absolutely look horrid. I don't have anything positive to say about them. Nothing. Nothing at all. Their blonde hair looks bad on them. Like, they shouldn't have that gold sunset yellow hair. Like, that's... Oh, they should have more of, like, Corrin's blonde hair, even though hers is, like... Is Corrin blonde? In the game, she looks like a very light blonde. But in Conquest, she looked like she had light hair, so I don't even know if she's a blonde. But if they wanted to make them blonde, that shouldn't have been the shade they went with. Honestly, they probably would have looked better as brunettes, or heck, they're going anime style. Give them random hair colors. I mean, they gave Perry cotton candy hair. What's wrong with giving them something like that? That would have been cool. But yeah, their hair is terrible. Their voice, I don't know who screamed mother in the trailer, but whoever did needs to shut up. I never want to hear that person talk. I swear I will go crazy. So I hope there's dual audio, because I don't want to hear that in English. God. And then I also don't understand why we didn't get Alphonse or Sharina as the original characters for the game, because we already had a separate world where all of the characters could just randomly be summoned, which makes sense. That would have been great if we could get the Asker Kingdom and you actually get to summon the characters. Obviously, you're not going to have access to like 200 plus characters to summon from, like in Hyrule Heroes. Not Hyrule. Oh my god. Fire Emblem Heroes. Obviously, you're not going to have access to all that. That'd be insane. But it would have been nice if we could have, like, summoned them in the game, get that whole animation. That would have looked beautiful. Especially on the Switch. And, at least Alphonse and Sharina are already established. Their designs aren't awful. I mean, their frosted tips look weird, but, I could go with it. And, they're not bad units. And you know what else? They're not both sword users. And anyway, now I'm just I'm just rambling on just to be angry at those two. So now we're going to move on to the roster, which hasn't been announced all the way. At the time of this recording, the roster has not been announced. We only have the people who were in the E3 trailer or demo, or whatever you want to call it. But a couple of weeks ago, Famitsu let everyone know that the playable characters in the game are mostly going to be limited to people from FE1, 3, Awakening, and Faiths. Because they didn't want too many sword users. To be fair, that is kind of out of context. What they meant in context is that if they pulled the lords from all the Fire Emblem games, they would be stuck with mostly sword users, which is true, even though a lot of them also have secondary weapons. Most of them end up having secondary weapons, if I'm correct. So, they could have flipped it around like they've done with other characters and heroes, but that's not here or there. They said there were too many sword users of the lords, and in their base classes, they're kind of right. Does that mean that's not bullshit? No, it's completely bullshit. Their reasonings make no sense, and it's terrible, and I hate it. I really wanted the game to be like, I didn't even care if it was gonna be like 2 people from every game or something, but I wanted it to be like semi-equal. This is just insane. I mean, it makes sense. Oh, I have a phone call. I don't know who that's from. Oh well. I don't know why they decided to do it like this. I don't particularly care why if they're not going to answer us honestly. So we all know that their answer is BS, and it's BS for 2 different reasons. One, if they were worried about having too many sword users, they wouldn't have shown us 5 sword users in their demo. There's Xander, Chrom, Marth, Corrin, and the blonde. That's 6. 6 sword users. Granted, Xander also has a horse, so I guess that makes him different. So you want to count out Xander, there's still 5. 5! I don't know why I'm waving my arms because you can't see me, but 5 different sword users. If they were that worried about having too many sword users, they shouldn't have made the twins sword users too. I mean, unless you're going to be able to customize them so that eventually they can use bows and lances and axes and kind of be like your default character to do whatever you want with. Kind of be like Robin, who's technically your avatar, but who's an avatar in the way that you can customize them, but also has their own unique quotation personality. So who knows? It could be different. It could just be terrible. I'm not looking forward to the twins at all. I'm probably going to ignore them. But we all know that's dumb. The second reason I call BS on this is because a lot of people who played the older games and had all those extra lords who were sword users, I think I speak for all of us when I say we would have accepted characters beside the lords. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm giving other people too much credit, but I know that if they had told us we're not going to be using the lords from every game because there are too many sword using lords. So we're going to be picking side characters from these games. I would have been fine because you know what? I love the side characters of the older games. I would have loved to play as Marcus or Naomi, Boyd, Lute, fucking Stefan, Soren, Matthew, Lucius, Raven, like anyone, please. If you give me any character from Sacred Stones, I don't even care if it's Artur or Garcia or fucking Kyle. I accept Kyle too. I mean, I don't really like him, but I'd accept him just to have that representation, just to have that equal amount in the game to say that, look, we know these games exist. We care about them as equally as Fates and Awakening and 1 and 3, even though they didn't sell as well. They're precious to us. We acknowledge them. They're here, and we know you love them. We know this part of the fandom isn't the biggest, but it's what kept us existing up until Awakening. You're just as important to us. That's why a lot of people are upset. It's not just because of the characters. I mean, a lot of it is, granted, I want to see Hector, Ephraim, or Ike in that game at launch as much as anyone else does. But that's not the part that's making everyone upset. Like, I see people arguing on forums or whatever about that and just calling people elitist or blah, blah, blah. But that's not. We don't want these characters just because we want to snub these newer games. We want these characters because it feels like we're being pushed out of the franchise. And I know it seems like a really big thing to say this, like, with only 2 games that are kind of in this newer formula. But it doesn't mean like it still doesn't feel that way. It's annoying when you go from Awakening, which personally I really like. I do like Awakening. I love a lot of those characters. They're quirky, they're funny. I like the art style. The soundtrack's great. The gameplay is like, meh, and the story's like, it. You know what? That's for a different video. I can talk about Awakening at length in another video. But I like Awakening. Go to that, and then see Fates push some of those conventions into a game that didn't need it, into a game that already had a lackluster or terrible story with some questionable characters, like questionably good, like not even like questionable like morality, but whether or not they even needed to be in the story, or whether or not they're even good characters or anything like that. To go from those 2 games and then go into TMS, which basically snubbed all of the older games and then went to the whole pop idol aesthetic and then did the whole, oh my god, the end of the game's terrible. And then go into this, regardless of Echoes, regardless of whether or not they did an amazing remake, to have all that in a row just feels like we're not important to the series or franchise anymore, which, you know, it shouldn't be all about us. And at least I'm acknowledging it's not all about me, who is a part of that older generation, I guess. But I still want to feel like the fact that I stuck around with this franchise when it was quote unquote failing, wasn't going to exist, and helped keep it afloat for as long as I could. I feel like that deserves some recognition, and that is something that deserves those characters getting as equal representation as they do, especially when those characters are so high up on the heroes polls. Like, honestly, if the game hadn't been still probably so far in development when the heroes poll came out in early February or something, that's where they should have pulled their character roster from. Sorry, they should have pulled that roster, like their first 20 to 30 characters, from the top 10 guys and girls, or top 15 guys and girls roster. Then you'd have them. And that was like a decent enough mix of new and old lords. I mean, obviously you weren't gonna get the what was it? The doubles. I know that Path of Radiance Ike and Radiant Dawn Ike both made the top 10, I think. So obviously you wouldn't include both of them because still one person. But that's what should have happened. I feel like that poll should have come out before the game was so far in development. I mean, maybe they are gonna pay attention to that. Maybe they're gonna do that for DLC, but we shouldn't have to pay money to get that equal representation in the game. And I'm not going to get into an argument of whether, of like, the pros and cons of DLC or blah, 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 blah. But if the DLC is going to be as outrageous as the Echoes one, that's dumb. And I know they can do that with how much people love these characters. Ugh, I'm running out of time with this video. I didn't think I'd be talking this long, jeez. Anyway, actually, let me rewind this video. Sorry, this is some really ghetto video style, guys. Okay, play. There we go. There we go. I knew I was going to be talking long about this, but I didn't think I'd be talking long enough for the video to run out. Gosh. I'm going to re-listen to this and, like, cringe to myself at how terrible it sounds and how elitist or whatever, and how much time I spent on gameplay or graphics just avoiding getting so involved in this. But I actually do care a lot, because this franchise means a lot to me, and even when this is a spin-off game or whatever, but when I heard about a Fire Emblem Warriors type game, like, it clicked in my head, this is what I want. This is something that I want this series to have. I want us to have a Warriors game. And then getting the disappointment of knowing that I will probably not see Luke or Joshua or Ephraim in this game, who are some of my favorite characters ever. I didn't cry. I wasn't that upset. But I was like, it did dampen my hopes for this game. So maybe I'm just being too emotional or whatever. Maybe I'm just a big crybaby. I really don't care. It's how I felt. And, you know, your emotions are justified. So I'm not going to try to lower, like, not feel what I feel about this just because people are like, oh, you're taking it too personally. Like, whatever. Fuck it. Say what you want. Anything else I wanted to say? I mean, this video is already almost 30 minutes. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let me see. I think that I actually said everything I wanted about these characters. I'm surprised. I didn't think I'd actually get there. So I guess I should go in my overall thoughts and opinions about the game as my close-up. So again, as I close this, I want to make it very clear, like really insanely clear. I don't hate this game. I don't know enough about this game to hate it, so obviously I don't hate it. And I don't hate Fates or Awakening. I'm probably going to do separate videos about my opinions on those, but I love Awakening. I really do like Awakening. I think IS did all that they could with all of their ideas that they wanted. I wish that they did better with ambush spawns, and I wish I wish that the story was done better. But for what Awakening was and what it did for the franchise, I love it all the same. I especially love my little son Morgan, but that's its own thing. I do like Fates. I enjoyed Fates. I thought it was a good, okay game, and I had fun with it, except for Birthright, because Birthright is a terrible Fire Emblem game. Fight me, and I will make a video on why I hate Birthright. That's something I can definitely rage about for a long time. So even though I don't hate these games, I'm just noticing a trend with the franchise that I really don't want to happen. I don't want them to focus so much on these last few newer games and then ignore the games or the parts of the games that made Fire Emblem good to begin with. Like, I really don't want them to have a bunch of games that have good potential and great premises, but then don't live up to that, which is what I feel Fates did, this game is doing, TMS definitely did. Actually, no. Rephrase that. TMS failed. Fates had such big potential and premise, and it failed epically. And this game's on its way to doing it as well with its roster. And I haven't finished Echoes, so I can't give an opinion on whether or not that had a great premise or failed. But looking at Gas's face up until where I stopped playing the game because I didn't want to spoil myself, he's having the time of his life, so it doesn't seem like it's failing. So, am I still hyped for this game? Yes and no. When I talk about this game or think about it to myself, I get my hype's really lowered at this point because I'm pretty sure I won't see the characters I want to see. But then when I look at this gameplay, I get really excited because it looks so much fun. So it's like, it's yes and no. I enjoy seeing Chrom and Corum beating a bunch of people up. I'm a little bit annoyed at seeing how similar Chromrium and Marth are playing. And I don't like the Wonder Twins, so I don't want to see them at all. But I'm still pretty happy with this game. So, even though this whole last half seemed pretty negative, I'm still happy to see this game. Is this a day one buy for me? Unless Ephraim, Hector, Female Robin, or Soren, or I'm saying if any one of these guys, of these 4 people I listed, are in there day one. If they are, then I will try to get a copy of this game day one. If they're not, then probably not. There's not that much of a push for me. I mean, if Joshua's in that game, I'm gonna get it day one. So maybe I should have added a couple more side characters. I just added these big characters because I know they're people that a lot of people want to see day one, or else they're not getting the game. And I mean day one as a part of the main game, not day one DLC. If they're not in the game naturally on day one, I'm not getting the game day one. I'll get it by Christmas. I mean, the game itself is super hype, so there's no way I'm not going to get the game. Also, if there is dual audio, maybe I'll get the game, because that means I won't have to hear the blind people talking. Huh. But if Sumia is in this game day one and Ephraim isn't, I'm going to be so mad. I hate Sumia. I hate her so much. I don't understand why Blazing Knight loves her so much. Nope, that's a different discussion. I'm not going to talk about that. So, last thing to talk about. Any final thoughts that I might have? The last thing I want to say, I think it sounds like I interview myself. I just had these notes down. Any final thoughts I have? It's just, last thing I'm going to say really is just make your own judgments on this game, and wait until we have more information to really make a hard judgment. I'm trying to keep an open mind, and right now I'm 50-50 on it. And I want to like this game, guys. And part of me is just feeling a little bit betrayed by it. Even though I really shouldn't, because it didn't promise me anything except for a warrior style game. Hopefully there'll be some good news in the future, and maybe that'll mean an Ephraim announcement. I hope he gets announced, especially in his new armor. His Hyrule Warrior, God, why did I call it Hyrule Warriors? His Fire Emblem Heroes armor looks so good. Oh, I want to see someone cosplay that so badly, just so I can get a picture and see how detailed it would look in person. Anyway, that's off topic, but I hope you guys liked this 30-minute episode. Wow, this got really long. Oh my god. Okay. So, hopefully you guys liked hearing my opinion. Hopefully I didn't offend anyone too much. If you guys want to hear have more videos like this, or want to know my opinions on other games that I may or may not have played, hit me up in the comments below, give me a like, and if you like me that much, please subscribe. So this is my opinions on Fire Emblem Warriors. I hope you guys have a good day, night, time, or whatever, wherever you are. And this is Classy, signing off.